Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Life Happens podcast. I'm your host, Grace. And today, guys, our episode is called Blended Families, The Journey. So, you guys out there, join us as we delve into the lives of blended families, as we uncover the challenges they face and the beautiful moments they share. So, whether you're part of a blended family or interested in understanding the dynamics, this episode offers a glimpse into the journeys that shape these unique family ties. Okay, guys, today we have an amazing guest. Hi, Stacy.
Hi, how are you? I'm
I
very.
am well.
I'm excited to be here. Kim got me, dragged me in, and I am so excited because she's been telling me about this podcast that she's doing with you, and I've glanced at it a few times, and I didn't really understand it all. But she said, "Would you like to be a part?" I said, "I'll do whatever you tell me to. I would love to. I love all of you guys. I've met you
Thank
before, Robbie. Yeah,
Welcome,
Alicia. So I'm excited.
welcome, welcome.
Yay. Okay, wait, did we just wait? Was it when I came and we did the interview?
Yes, yes. With Deborah's and I's very brief little video cast that we had going, that we have no idea if anybody ever watched, but we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did. We
We're
did.
great. Yeah, I enjoyed getting to know you. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I don't know if we got fired or if we were just too good. I'm not really sure.
Oh,
With the one, yeah.
Oh wow, that's funny.
Yep.
Hey, Felicia girl.
hey.
You know it's Cinco de Mayo this weekend. Yo, I've been eating tacos like I am Hispanic, like I am a Latina.
I have too. I have been eating tacos like that too. I don't know why, but especially when Shelby's here, I have a taco every night.
Oh, wow.
Okay, do you make it from scratch or do you buy it?
I make it. So William buys the tortillas because he has the low carb tortillas, and then we make the
Okay.
meat and make everything that goes in it. Shelby makes the meat in the air fryer and got all the little sauces and crap, and it's so good.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been eating a lot of tacos and buying them too. You know what I'm saying? You know those little ones with the cilantro and the onion.
Berea. I just finished a Berea taco.
Oh, for real?
But I bought it. I didn't make it. I bought it.
So
That's the kind you dip, right? Is that the kind
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
dip?
the consomme, yes.
yeah, but that's a lot to make though. That's more intricate. I've been eating the street tacos. I've been making them and buying the small ones and
Mhm.
putting it on the kumal. You know, I have a kumal, okay? You would think I'm
Oh,
Mexican, baby, okay? You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Okay, and then the instant pot, y'all. 1 hour and that meat was like barbacoa, was soft,
Mm.
right? The
Nice.
onion, this my son's eating some right now. The onions and cilantro and then the lime and then the salsa
Mm.
was made with the
Mm.
tomatillo.
Oh my gosh.
That's exactly what I just got through
Yep.
eating.
That sounds good. Robbie, invite us
It,
over. 'Cause-
Yes. Why are we not doing this podcast with food involved? That's
exactly.
exactly.
but but I will not be making Mexican food if I invite you over. So
Oh, wow.
No,
no.
make
Make one.
Indian food.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. So guys, did you all have a chance to see the video? Has everybody watched it?
Yes.
If
I don't know
I want,
about, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like as I'm navigating through my life, I realized a while ago that when I get into relationships, person's gonna have kids, right? Because I
Right.
have kids. So I come from a village mentality, which means um if I marry someone that has kids, his kids automatically becomes my kids. And that sounds great, right? Having
Mm-hmm.
that mentality, but then there's the intricate inner workings that I've never navigated through before. So I'm not sure how it works. But when I watched this video, I was freaking disturbed. So I'm gonna play it. Okay.
My fiance tried to exclude my daughter from my wedding, so I called it off. I'm 45 years old, and I have a daughter named Bella who's 11 years old. I had her in a previous relationship with my ex wife. We got divorced on good terms, and we split custody. Now, I started dating again, and that's when I met Sammy. Me and Sammy were together for 4 years, and then I proposed. Now, Sammy and my daughter Bella get along very well. So, after I proposed to Sammy, she started planning the venues and where we was going to get married, and she started inviting bridesmaids, and then she mentioned to me that she wanted a flower girl. Now, my 11-year-old baby girl, Bella, would be perfect. So I said, okay, great. Bella can be the flower girl. She then gave me a weird look, and then she said Bella wouldn't fit. So I said, well, Bella's going to be in our wedding one way or another. So we could try to fit her in somewhere because she needs to be in the wedding. My fiance then told me that she's going to be responsible for all the women in the wedding, and my daughter wouldn't be one of them. So I told her, either my daughter Bella is in the wedding or there won't be no wedding at all. So think carefully about what you do. And after that, I got my daughter and we left. I took her to go get some ice cream. Now, my daughter knows that I'm getting married. So she said, I think I'll look great in whatever dress Sammy gets me. Excited for the wedding. This broke my heart, knowing that Sammy don't even want her to be in it. So I texted her and I said, hey, I'm going to be staying with a friend for a few days. I need to think this through. After that, I get a text from my mother-in-law. I get a text from her mother saying that I'm overreacting, that my daughter doesn't need to be in the wedding, and that I'm making a big deal out of this. Also, I'm being a jerk by threatening to call it off because my daughter won't be in it. So after that, I went back home. I went back home and I seen my mother-in-law sitting outside of her car across the street. So I did my best to get out of the car and not be noticed by her. That way I don't have to speak to her. So I went in the house to talk to my fiance. And I asked her, I seen her in the kitchen, sitting down at the dining room table. I asked her, why does my daughter not fit the part? And why do you not want my daughter in the wedding? And her answer shocked me to my core. She said, I was hoping that after we got married, you would become one of those holiday only type dads, that you will only see your daughter a few times out of the year. I didn't want her in the wedding because I didn't want any photos of her around the house, knowing that she won't be around as often anymore. I calmly took her hand and slid that ring off of her finger. She started tearing up. I told her, by tomorrow, all of your stuff needs to be going out of my house. And you need to do it while my daughter's not here. She ran out of the house crying, begging for me to forgive her. We were supposed to go on our honeymoon in Hawaii. I guess me and Bella will be going on that Hawaii trip together.
I love it.
Oh God.
Oh my gosh. First of all, I have a question. How is that guy 45 years old? He said he was 45. You look like he was 21. He has the wisdom of 45, but wow, he looks good.
I would like to think that this is common sense, right? That you're not gonna give your children up for a partner. But before I even talk about that, who wants to go first? What do you guys think, Kim?
Yes, I am. When I married William, he had a 9-year-old son. So for me, I entered into the whole blended thing. I didn't have Jessica yet. She's on her way. But so I always treated Bubba, my son, like he was my son. I'd always thought, hey, I'm gonna treat him just the same, like if he was my kid, which I always did. Bubba's mom is still living, so he still had his mom voice in his life, which was hard. When you have 3 people telling you stuff, and then me being a person that's on the other side. So that was always difficult. But I always treated him with respect. He was in my wedding, so I don't know what she's talking about. So that's crazy. Yes. That's crazy. That was a crazy video. I don't understand that. But that relationship right there had no communication. You've been with her 4 years, dude. You don't know that? 4 years
Exactly.
with her? You don't know that?
But she
Come
could
on.
have been a good actress, though. I'm sorry. She could have been a good actress. And
For four
because he
years,
said,
Rabia? For 4 years?
yes, because he said that the daughter and the woman got along. Now, I don't know about you, but I come from a family of narcissists, and baby, they are actors and actresses. Okay,
Hmm.
you would think they like you until they can't control you. I'm just saying. So I can believe that he may not have known this. I mean, or he anyway. I don't want to say because they said don't want to use bad words because he's here today. But
Oh,
or he being
please!
what?
I feel much more at home. Kim and I, that's pretty much our nonstop. Our main. Yeah, that's how we communicate. I'm really good around other people, but man,
She cool.
But I mean, okay, Felicia, what do you think?
Well, I kind of have a blended family, but mine is a little different from Kim's. My stepson was very young when we got married. I think he was like maybe 4 or 5, but his mom lived in North Carolina. So we would only get him in the summertime and every other Christmas, every other Thanksgiving. Like, so we did have that blended family, but it was like I couldn't imagine telling my husband I want you to be a holiday dad. No, I mean who? No, no.
Says that.
But I do believe she was delusional. She wanted the marriage. She wanted the wedding.
Hmm.
That was her
Yeah.
thing. She
She
did
didn't want to
whatever
be a
she had
mom,
to
huh?
do to get that wedding. And she might have thought her delusional. You know how women think we can change or fix or men and when I have my baby, he gonna forget all about her, they want their baby to be, their perfect little family and not really realizing, I guess, and I'm assuming she's young, you know.
She has to be
I'm
because she's
assuming.
so freaking delusional. I mean, and
Yeah.
I don't think she has children. She can't have
No.
children. Not saying that.
No. No.
So, Stacy, what do you think?
I keep remembering a scene from the movie Freaky, no, Parent Trap, where where the twins, the new stepmom comes in and wants to send them off, and she's acting really great with the dad, but behind
Mm-hmm.
she's planning things out. It's a very typical,
Yeah.
old movie plot twist, but it all is similar to what you were saying about narcissism. It's this
Right.
selfishness that is able to hide, and it's kind of unfortunate, and it kind of makes me wonder a little bit how 4 years of a relationship, how she was able to hide it, or how he wasn't able to see that there might be some problems. But uh, I come from a lot of blendedness through in my childhood, ins and outs of divorces and families and stuff. Ended up with some couple of really great step parents, couple of kind of mediocre ones, nobody too bad, but around us was always a lot of blended, and it was something that I actually had to help my kids with because they came from two parents, stable, family, no divorces in my own kids' family, but all of their friends were from divorce. And so I would have to say, well, you have to understand this is a difficult family situation. They're going from this house to this house, and I knew that there was all you would hear these little things, and my kids would be clueless, and I would think, oh, I know that other parent is being selfish. That other that stepmom is being a bitch. That's and it's hard to try to explain that to the kids or but because they've never experienced any of that. But blending families it's a bit of a nightmare.
It
it's
is.
it is nothing but the need for Christianity and love and a whole lot of Jesus meetings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of
I
Jesus.
mean, and it is. I agree with what she says. When you have to deal, I mean, he made it that him and his ex wife broke up amicably, like it was good. They had like a
Mm-hmm.
good breakup, but it's like, what is the wife like? What is his ex-wife like? And why is she nice to Bella? It's just so many. I got questions. I have so many questions. Like, what would possess you to think a parent that has joint custody would be okay with, oh, we'll just do holidays? Or why wouldn't you want the baby's picture in your house?
That that
And
was
let's talk about her mama that's
level.
encouraging the bullshit.
Yeah,
The mother.
that takes it. That's not just I don't want you in my wedding.
Right.
That's I don't even want to see your face. And when people come over to the house, I don't want them to see your face. This face. It's pretending that that the old thing doesn't exist,
Right.
and this new thing is going to be the perfect little unit,
Right.
and
Right.
denying that man and that child of their own reality. We're gonna create a new reality, and everything else is gonna magically disappear. And
A lot of women, and unfortunately, a lot of women do that. I mean, not so much with the man, but I seen on one, it may have been a TikTok or something I seen on social media, where the woman actually dropped off her kids to her mom because she doesn't want to do that anymore. Her and her new
I
boyfriend,
saw that.
yeah, want to start their own life or whatever. It's like, excuse me, like, really?
I've seen that,
You don't
yeah.
get
That's
kids back.
delusional.
It
That's
is what it is.
delusional. That's delusional. That's
Yeah.
delusional.
No,
There's no
there's
such thing as this perfect family, this perfect thing. And what you want, you're delusional. Good, take that back because that girl and her mama are delusional.
and
Yes.
her mama.
And her
And
mama.
maybe embarrassed. Like a lot of people, they don't want him want she may be one of those people, I don't want nobody to know my husband has this child. I want them to think that we're this perfect couple. So, when I'm walking down the aisle, I don't have to explain, oh yeah, that's his child from a previous marriage. Some people are embarrassed by that.
And then, but you live, because it sounds like they're living together, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is my thing. You embarrassed that the man had a child, but you're not embarrassed living with the man that's not your husband. First of all, which means you having sex, okay? But you worry about the wrong shit. Like clearly,
You
you
really are.
embarrassed, but you're not embarrassed. Like it's like people can sin before God and be like cool because God is so full of grace, and so you keep doing the same shit over and over and over again, right? And that's cool though, right? But aren't you embarrassed though? No, you're not, because it's gratifying your flesh. Or anyway, I have a whole analogy on this shit. But the point is, I can't say God and say shit. I'm sorry, guys, but but she pissed me off. I'm glad that he made the decision to leave her. But before we continue with that, I want to ask you guys a question. What are the most common challenges blended families face? I mean, Felicia, when you and your husband got together, what was the most challenging thing as far as the baby?
For me, and I think for him too, was discipline. And
Mm,
then discipline started to look different when we had our own kids. Because
Mhm.
we can't not discipline you and discipline
right,
our kids under the
right.
same roof. So I think discipline. But I was so blessed. My bonus child is a sweet, sweet child. So it wasn't a lot of, you know,
Right.
we didn't really, I'm blessed because we really didn't have a lot of discipline with him to do because he was just a good kid. But, it was like, okay, you can't, you know, if we say no, it's across the board. No, you can't
Right.
have different rules for different households. So I think that was our biggest challenge was how do you do discipline? And and of course, it really wasn't a challenge. It was like, okay, I let him do all the discipline, you know, because I didn't want there to be tension between the mother and I because of discipline.
Oh, yeah.
I
That's
think that's
important.
very wise. Everything I've ever read said, the actual parent needs to be a little bit more in charge. But hopefully, good communication, you're able to do that together. But
Right.
yeah,
I think that's the key, being able to
Mhm.
communicate with each other. Because the
Hmm.
truth is, we all come from different backgrounds, right?
Right.
And so he may do things differently to the way you do things. You may beat your kids. He may not beat his kids. And
Right.
then you beat his kids. No, you know what I'm saying? So these conversations need to be had. I also think one of the main things is that when the parents are having these conversations, they should not have it in front of the children. Some conversations, yes, you have a family meeting, but there's some things like, because what will happen is the kids are going to now cause division. I
Mhm.
mean, they're going to play all against each other.
Mhm.
And then when they go to dad or to mom, they're going to be talking some mad shit. And then can you just see the bullshit
Yeah.
if you don't, you
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
my question is it easier when they're younger or is it easier when they're older? Or does it even make a difference?
I think it's easier when they're younger because when they're younger, I don't know. I got my son when he was 9 years old, which I love my son. I'm like Felicia. I love my son and he loves me. So I'm very happy. But I remember one time me and William, Bubba was 10, and I was like, no, we're not gonna punish him for that. And William's like, well, you can't really tell me how to punish my son. I was like, what the heck? You know what I'm saying? I just kind of like went off on him. And William immediately was like, oh, I'm so sorry. You know, I didn't mean to say that. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You really feel that way. No, 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 I don't. I don't. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You know, it went through this whole thing. But I remember when he had said that once, and he had said that to me. I mean, he never said it again, but I knew that was in
I
his
bet.
heart and in his mind at that time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We were having a disagreement because Bubba was actually living with us. So we were
Oh,
having a
wow.
disagreement on how to delve out punishment for a 10-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah. And the interesting thing that I think was good, even though we didn't practice it anyway, one of the things in the visitation court order, because we had mediation and all that, was that the parents were not allowed to say negative things about the other parent. And I think
Oh,
that's
I like
so
that.
important,
Yes.
which we never did. Like the extent
Yeah.
of my conversation about his mom would be, did you call your mom and let her know you made it? Have you checked on your mom? Things
Thank
like
you,
that. So,
Right.
Felicia. Thank you. I did the same thing. Have you talked to your
Right.
mom?
have you called
Not
your
even
mom?
say,
Right.
how is your mom doing? You know what I'm
Right. But
saying?
that was the gist of, but if I had anything negative to say, he was on a plane in North Carolina. He was never, there to
Right,
listen. And
exactly,
you know what? I
exactly.
wouldn't even say it in front of my children.
Yeah,
That would be a conversation between me and my husband.
right.
So and there are very few of those, but they did. I would be lying to say they didn't happen. Like she may have certain rules in her house that we don't have in our house.
Yeah. And I mean, it has to be challenging. Like, what about you, Stacy?
I actually have my daughter just got engaged to a man who has a baby and a little girl, and so we're very excited about bonus 3 year old, almost 3 year old coming into our lives,
Yay.
and love him, and it's just a wonderful uh, uh, quick blending of families. But so obviously had lots of conversations with my daughter and her fiance. What's this is going to look like? We've got months. Yeah, I think 6 or 8 months before they're going to get married. But
Mm-hmm.
Tiff, thank
but
you.
we've been. I One of the suggestions I made was as they go through some discipline things, or maybe with daddy and my daughter, maybe they notice a little something, to be super open with mom and actually there's a stepdad over there on the other side too. And I said, but really one thing you could do is just like if you have a book or a maybe some video or some kind of teaching that you're kind of going through and going, oh, I've noticed this, because all of you are first time parents, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, uh, just say, hey, we've been reading this book, see what you think about it, and share some knowledge, or hey, I saw this cool website that has some cool information about raising a toddler, a 2 year old, a 3 year old, or how we're going to teach the little girl to read, or how we're going to teach her potty training. Just make sure you're on the same page and just be really open about sharing those kind of things as you're both learning. So that way, one of you's not like, oh, we're not worried about potty training yet, and the other one's like, well, we've already been doing that. I mean, just even simple things like that, or what food the child is eating. Oh, we're not ever going to give this child sweets, and the other one they give him ice cream all the time. I'm not saying that's happening, but just even those little things, can cause tension because I remember from I have a twin sister, and we were always going back and forth, and we could feel that tension. You could feel Dad did this with us, and we would go to mom's. We would be with mom most of the time, and we always did it this way. But Dad was like, you're fine. No, you worry about that. Watch this on TV. Watch this. Watch that. Stay up later. And then what we knew we really weren't supposed to, but we try to get away with it with Dad, because he'd let us. So just even feeling, that was when we were a little bit older, but just feeling that amount of tension, the best thing is, if it's hopefully possible, is to share insights as you're trying to figure out how to raise the child, to share it with the other parent, and hopefully they're going to care enough and be be willing to listen to what you're saying as well. So. Yep, it's.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And I like the things you said. One of the things that I'm remembering now is in my family, how I grew up. There's 13 of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my mom and dad were previously married, and they both had kids. So both their spouses passed away. So then they got married, and they had me and my younger brother. Me and my younger brother. So basically, we either share a mother or a father. But my youngest brother and I, we share a mother and a father, right?
Mm-hmm.
So growing up, I did not know this, right? Because they never told us this initially. So
Oh,
until one day, yeah, they never told us. I mean, I'm sure the other
it
kids
was.
knew.
Yeah, they were widows, so they weren't going back and forth to the other parent. So they were okay. Wow.
Right.
Okay.
So my brother and I, because I think we were young, so I don't think we put it together, right? Until one day, one of my sisters said, "Go to your mother." And I was like, what? And that's when I found out, oh, this mother's not her mother. I didn't know,
Wow.
right? She was our older sibling. I didn't know that. But one of the things I wish that my mother did better was um, punishing us all equally. She didn't do that equally.
Yeah.
And when you ask her, why was she harder on her birth children, she would say things like, well, I didn't want them to feel like I wasn't their mother. Well, yeah, you were not their birth mother, but what you created was the children were not getting along because, oh, she treats you better. And they don't say that at the time, but as people, grow up and they have their own families, you start to see how that works and how the dynamics look, because now there's like this division between the kids that the kids didn't even create,
Yep.
but the parents didn't have the tools to be able to, be fair. So that's how I grew up, and not even knowing that. Now you could tell like visually because my younger brother and I look alike,
Mm-hmm.
and then so as you think about it, you're like, oh, okay, it makes sense, and then
Yeah.
different last names, right? So my dad's last
Mm-hmm.
name, his kids' last names are Wood, and then my mom was Delang. And but it's like, but you don't piece that thing together. I feel like communication is it's key in this, because you either can make your relationship or break it. Because I think of my parents, and you think of yourself being in relationships. I can't imagine um, getting into relationship and not loving my guy's kids like my own. Like
Yeah.
this woman, she pissed me off. I'd like to meet her actually.
Yeah.
I'd like to meet her and her mama.
And her mama.
And her mama.
Because
And
the mama
it,
Why
tried,
ain't your mama giving you wisdom, girl? Come on.
she
Mama.
handled it. She
She's
handled it so
away from
poorly.
mama.
But I think that it's I think one of the things that I had a thought while you were talking. The thing about being a blended family is that my kids didn't know we were a blended family. All they knew, because they were
mm,
little, that's my brother. My brother. That's my big brother. My big brother
right.
lives in. And I remember when PJ was younger. I don't know. He's somebody, so he might be a little slow. My other girls kind of caught it. But when he was younger, he was like, "How is Shane my brother and you're not his mom?" And I said, "Because you have the same dad." And he was like, "Okay," but he wasn't satisfied with that answer. but he took it. He's still your brother, not half brother, not partial brother. That's your brother. And I think that's the responsibility of the adults in the kid's life
I
to
think so
not
There
too.
you go.
create
Like you don't have
that
halves. There's no
separation.
halves. There's no
No,
step.
that's
No,
your
Right,
we're
brother.
all one.
That's your
Yeah.
brother. Like I
right,
would make sure that when we took family, we have several family pictures with him in it, like pictures of him and the kids together. This is your brother. This is, and even now I see how close they're related. They're very close. Like oh yeah, I talked to my brother yesterday. They're always on the phone with them, always talking to him because he still lives in North Carolina. But I think that that's so important for their relationship. That they, you know, because I've seen growing up where sisters and brothers live in the same city, don't even know each other. It's
right.
like they don't even they go to school together, don't know their sister and brother. So it's like a
No,
lot
right.
of craziness. So I never wanted my kids not to know their brother.
But
My
that's kudos
daughters
to
would,
you, though, Felicia, to you and your husband
yeah,
for
yeah.
setting that standard that they don't use the terms as step and,
Yeah.
because I know I was talking to my oldest and she doesn't like that either. Because it feels so like impersonal. I don't like that. And, okay,
When you
it's
say
obvious to me,
half, I mean,
but
that's my
Yeah.
half brother, a half sister.
know,
Yeah.
Your
I
it
have
brother.
feels
a
like
half
I didn't
sister.
know.
I just found
Mm,
out I have a half sister, and we just call her our sister. You
Right.
know, Crochet is not
right,
my half sister. She's not my dad's daughter. That's my sister. So when people always say, "How many
right.
sisters you have?" I say, "I have two sisters. I have
Right.
a baby sister. I just found out when she
No,
turned
that's cool
17,
though.
but I have a baby sister. You know what I'm saying?
It's only 17.
I met her when she was 17.
Oh, okay. I thought you were 17. Now I was like, what the
Yeah.
hell?
No, no, when I met her, she was
Oh,
17.
okay.
So my girls figured it out when they were little because they realized Bubba didn't call me mom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why does he call you mama? Like, why does he call you Kim? Like, why does he do that? And then I had to explain to him, oh, he has another mom. He has another mom. He has two
Mm,
moms. You just
Mm-hmm.
got one. But he's lucky. He got three, you know. But now, as Bubba is an adult, he's 30, right? Yeah, 30. So he is like, so now he calls me and he calls and he craps about his real mom. Like, oh, I'm not, like, I mean, he went like 6 months without talking to his mom. And I
Okay.
was just trying to
wow.
encourage him, please do not stop talking to your mom. I know you and her are having issues. I know you guys are having problems,
Right.
but don't stop talking to your mom, You can't get
Mm-hmm.
that time back. You know what I'm
No.
saying?
No.
So now I get the calls where he's just kind of like crapping on her. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's probably a tough space to be in. And you're giving him such good advice, Kim. Because maybe you could manipulate that entire situation. Because that woman, you just watch, she probably, anyway, and her mama.
Well, he has a
So
lot
I
of
understand
childhood trauma from his mom and all of it.
that.
So
Right,
that's it.
Well, like I use the term my bonus son. If I'll usually just say we have 5 kids, and then somebody will say, "Oh, so and I'll be like, "Well, he's my bonus baby."
Right.
If they keep asking questions, you keep wanting to go there. But yeah, I think that if you
because
don't
folks are
look
nosy.
at it like a blessing, that it'll feel like a curse because it is a
Right.
blessing. The your kids say, "I didn't ask to be here." Who did? Nobody asked to be here.
Oh,
So
I have a good comeback to that. When kids say,
Please, what is it?
I didn't ask you to be here. Yes, you did. Because out of all your sperm, out of a million sperm, your sperm went to the egg. So you ran to get here. Yeah, you did. You ran to get here.
okay,
Somebody picked. Somebody was running faster.
Oh
well,
my
but
God.
the kids though, I think we get so caught up as adults in appearances, like you get married, neither one of you have kids, you have this perfect family, you have this picket fence, but nobody talks about when we're not compatible and we have kids and it's over. Then
Oh, I
what?
know.
There's life
Mm,
after that,
Yeah.
right.
or when you make a
Definitely.
mistake when you're young and you have these kids, maybe you were married to the person, maybe you weren't, it doesn't matter. The kids are here. And I just think that, that's
Girl.
where a lot of trauma, those are people with real trauma comes from when
But what
you
if
have step parents and because it's a lot of fake trauma out there, but I'm talking about the real trauma when you have stepmoms that are nasty to the stepkids that treat them bad.
Right.
That's real trauma that affects those kids' life forever.
Hey, Keisha,
Hey,
guys, Keisha
Keisha.
recommended this video, guys. So
Oh,
just
thank
giving
you,
you the shout out.
Keisha.
So thanks, Keisha.
But what
Mm-hmm.
about the
So
kids who? What about the kids who are disrespectful to the parents, though? The step parents.
That's
that's a
the parent.
that exactly. I was about to say that's when the parent needs to address that.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it was my kids, I'm getting their ass, and I'm not going to have certain conversations in front of me and my husband with my children. I
Right.
think, and that leads me to the next question, right? How can you create a sense of unity in a blended family? It starts with respect and acceptance,
Mm-hmm.
right? You
Right.
got to accept each other and you got to respect each other. That's including the parents. Now, when the kids are disrespectful, that's a conversation that needs to be had with you and the man and woman and the kids. And also, another thing I feel like you have to be careful of, like, your kids can have conversations with you, but when it includes the other person in a negative way, or you can tell they're not happy because they were disciplined, um, that needs to be a family addressed as a family before, of course, you and him first before the kids, because they can really create a wedge between you.
I think
At the end
so.
of the day,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? They're gonna go off and have a life and have families, and
Yours
you're
and
sitting there
mine.
by yourself because you were like, "Well, I ain't never gonna touch my kid." Shut up. I'm sorry, because some people do too much. Now it's different if the man or the woman is beating your kids until,
Right.
that's a whole different thing. So to me, having those hard conversations prior to coming together, I feel like people should go to therapy together to figure out how this thing is gonna work, right? Because you all may be super compatible, but then the kids that are gonna leave your house and get married and go off.
Yeah.
You feel
Yeah.
me?
They
No,
will.
you want to turn 18, my guy. Shit, bye. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'm going on a tangent. But anyway, so I think it begins with acceptance and respect.
Yeah. And
I think
respect
so
is
too.
number one.
You're
Like,
right.
Mhm.
if a kid doesn't respect you, it is for the parent to say, no, you're not going to talk to my wife like that. No, we're not. This is not the path. The parent, not the step parent, to redirect the kid into discipline. What did you say? You're welcome. I'm sorry.
Keisha,
Sure.
read
I'm
that
about to
out loud,
take
please.
to the church so I can listen. I told my stepdaughter, I am not your friend. You made me slip with my husband. So you might want to stop being disrespectful because I can stop all your little visits.
No,
Oh, Lord.
no.
Keisha, Keisha, Keisha.
Damn, Keisha. Wow.
I don't know who that person is, but just in general, it is important to acknowledge the children's trauma. And I know as adults, divorce is traumatic as well. But there's hopefully adults can walk in a little more maturity. Our brains hopefully have not are more fully developed, but children going through the trauma of divorce, of going back and forth between families, especially if it was a really difficult divorce, we really need to acknowledge that trauma and find ways to help them through that trauma. And that trauma, it can be just emotional, well, not just, but an emotional trauma. But they probably do need some counseling. They need maybe some ongoing therapy. They need you to sit down with them with a good book that talks about to go through these things, and and develop respect for one another, help them to get to know you, and but it's really respecting the children and respecting that they're confused, that their loyalties are confused. They don't know who they're supposed to be nice to. Some kids, I was one of those kids that I wanted dad to like me, I wanted mom to like me, and I didn't want to feel disloyal. Like when I was with dad, I wanted to do everything dad wanted, because he was fun, and everything would be a lot of fun. And I didn't want him to think that if I talked about mom, even just little fun things, that meant that I didn't like him. And I was confused. I was just a little kid. I,
Mm-hmm.
Everything was very black and white. and it took obviously years to figure out how to balance all those things out. But little kids don't know that, and,
Right.
and respecting the kids and respecting their innocence and or confusion is actually more important to me than that they respect you, because they don't really understand respect. We're the grown-ups. We're
Mm-hmm.
understanding their respect, and we're supposed to understand that respect looks differently to different people, and sometimes being respected means I'll let you yell at me. You're a little kid. You may just need to get it out. You just may need to go sit quietly for a while. We'll go get some ice cream later, or we may not. I don't know. But letting you just let it out, or helping you to deal with the trauma, and not feeling and not taking it like, oh, they don't respect me. How dare they? And we're just letting them work through it, even not just one time, but maybe probably over maybe months or years or whatever it may be, because you don't know what's really going on at that other house,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's
You
true.
don't.
and
Yeah.
you may think everything may be all right. You don't know what might be going on at school, or if there's blended families with the feelings of, well, I'm not really the one that they love. They really love the one that they had together, and I'm interfering. The stupid stuff that kids can think.
Mm-hmm.
We really need to spend a lot more time, I think, stressing respecting the children and
Right.
their needs and their trauma, and not worry as much about the respect we deserve because we're the adults. So anyway, that's
Yeah, that's so true. We have to set the stage as parents. We have to do that
I
Yeah.
mean,
and not expect
we
kids.
love, right? Well, I mean, it's we do unto others, so we have to be patient and kind and loving, and kind and patient, and to show them. I need you to, hopefully one day you'll grow up and you'll be able to do this as well. But you won't be able to do it right now. That's okay. Your brain, you got to like 25, 28. Your brain is still mushy. That's okay. We'll figure it out together.
When I was listening to you talking, Stacey, and I was thinking about how you must have felt as a kid, trying to please both sets of parents and not wanting them to feel sometimes that is a lot of work for kids to do. And
Yeah.
it put me in the mindset of my children with their grandparents because they have step grandparents. And so their father's mother, yes, I'm telling you it's business. Their father's mother, they've been divorced for 30 years. You would think the woman is still in love with this man, okay? So when they go over there, my kids, they know, don't talk about granddad because she has a problem with him. Or she tries to one up. So if he buys them something, then she wants to. And I'm like, you don't need to do that. I had to tell her the kids love you, whether you buy them something or not. But she has made that relationship now transactional. And I tell my kids, you don't have to work for love. It is, okay? So you're gonna stop this shit. So I had to have a conversation because it's not the one set of grandparents, it's the other set. And I had to tell her, now I'm gonna limit your time together if you do this bullshit. Because I don't want you talking about the granddad. It was just like the divorce is 30 years, man.
Right.
You are now in bondage. That is a spirit. Okay. It was too much. So I just
Yeah.
want to add, I think to create unity, I think there should be family meetings. I think that there should be activities. So like bonding activities, right? Trying to find a common ground. And sometimes there's like age differences. So you got to find something that everybody's going to enjoy, I think, to make it work. You can't just like now, okay, we're getting married and then you kids, you just, you get along. That doesn't work that way. And I don't think it's fair to the kids to just throw them, you know, just
Yeah. In a
them
similar
their own.
story, I was going to share a story that I actually see in real life. It was this couple, like my husband coaches football. It was this couple, and they had two boys together, and they end up, breaking up. And the dad ended up dating a woman, a mom on the team. So
Oh,
that's drama in itself. But
oh
the
yeah.
the the real mom was okay with it. Like she was good. She's like, he was abusive. I'm good. Like I don't want to be in that relationship. She can have him. Yeah, she was like, she can have him. I don't want it. So she ended up meeting a really good guy. He proposed to her. Like I've been knowing him for years. He proposed to her. They got married. So now she's happy and he's not with the woman anymore, the mom.
Oh
And
Jesus.
I remember being at the game. Now he's not happy with when he was happy with the mom. You could You seen all 55 of his teeth, you know. But when he was not, he was so mean. And I knew her, and she would tell me he is just so mean. So one day the boys was in between games. She has two sons. And the stepdad was throwing a ball to him, and the boys, they was running and playing and having a good time with the stepdad. And the dad saw that. He got up out of the stand, went
Oh
down there,
God.
got the football, slammed it, and said, "You don't need to play with him. You don't play football with him. You only play with me." And it was like, seriously? And that's when she said that story, that's when I said that's the trauma. Because now they can't have fun with their stepdad without their dad being mad or thinking they're not loyal to him anymore. When I thought that was so sad. Even
That's
at the time when
hard.
I saw it, I was like, that is so sad. He was just playing with the kids, you know. But the dad was like, no, if I'm gonna be unhappy, we all about to be unhappy.
Right.
Asshole.
That's so sad.
Asshole.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Oh God. I want to say that reminds me of somebody, but um anyway.
Don't go there.
Yeah, I could see that, So another question for you guys, okay? What role do step parents play in nurturing a positive relationship with stepchildren? Do you think that their roles are crucial? What do you guys think?
Yeah. Their parent roles are crucial.
I think so. And just the development of the children is so important. I mean, it's important for kids just to be loved, I think,
Yeah.
and not to be ostracized or be an afterthought. And I think when you
Right.
have kids that are blended, that are not an afterthought to that step parent, I think that makes that kid feel loved and wanted. Even if they have children together and they include them and they treat them the same and
Right.
they love them the same, that helps their development so much, I think.
Yeah, I mean, even with the little things, you know, like my parents and my sister, when we do Christmas together, the first question they ask is Shane coming because they want to make sure they have gifts for him as well. And I
Right,
think that is
exactly.
so
See?
important to
Yeah.
make them feel like they're part of the family, you know.
Mhm.
That's so good. That is so good. I think when I think about my life, right? Because I'm going to get married again. I mean,
Yeah, of course.
of
Yeah.
course.
Look
I
at
think
you.
no, no, not because of that. I just like no one gets married to get divorced, right?
No.
No, I mean I didn't go into thinking one day I'm a divorce this mother because I just woke up one things led up to that, right? So when I
Right.
think about somebody else being in my children's life, and Kim, you know how my situation is, um, I think it's about building trust, right? First, not just what my kids are going to get from that person, but what am I going to give to his children, right? It's about building trust. I feel friendship before you start disciplining. And I think before you start disciplining, you need to talk to their father or their mother, whatever, right? Because you mentioned earlier, it's about trauma. Because the trauma that some kids have been through, I mean, you may use a different tone and may set them off. You may, or they may get into a shell, that kind of stuff. Because we all, been through different stuff. I think step parents, we have to have patience and empathy, and also encourage the relationship with the biological parents. We have,
Exactly. And I think that's so important. And so many people that I
yes,
know, Rabia, who have stepchildren do not encourage a relationship with, do not
right.
encourage. It's like, oh, they haven't seen their daughter in a year. It's like, what? You don't encourage that. You don't try to get them to go and see them or make appointments or something. But they just, I have a friend that got married and his daughter was like 8, and they only saw her during the holidays. I'm like, I know you have children too, but why don't you invite her more or and be around her more? And but she just wouldn't do it. She was like, "That's not my child."
Yeah.
That,
And that's sad.
Yeah,
that is sad. Like, girl, get a clue. Like, what?
I know.
Yeah.
She had
And
And
no
I'm
that's what
relationship with the girl whatsoever. She was 8. I
and
mean,
listening
she's
to you
grown now.
guys, just listening to everybody's, stories, because we all come from different lives and backgrounds. I always say I come from a village mentality, but I'm hearing village mentality here, the way all of you all are talking. Um, It's not an African thing, it's not an American thing, it's just a person thing, right? It's what
Mhm.
good people do when you are putting those positions of having a blended family. These are
Mhm.
the things that need to be done. And I think also it takes a person that's not insecure, because the mama may be cuter than you, the daddy, you know what I'm saying? And then that's where people start tripping. It's not about that. Because clearly,
Exactly.
if he wanted to be with her or him, they would be together, you know?
And you know, with my husband and it's Kim husband too, with them having boys, it is so important
I
for
know.
to be in his life. You know, it is like crucially important. So I would think less of him if he didn't desire that. You know, and I don't
Right.
see, yeah, but it's crucial for a man to be in his daughter's life. So it's like it's just crucial for the dad to be a part of the life. So I can't understand this woman saying, "Oh yeah, I thought you were gonna be a holiday dad." Like, really?
Like, insane.
Yeah. Did
And
you
you know
think
what
that or
happened?
you wanted that?
She wanted that.
Yeah.
And she maybe she hoped that he'd be one of those deadbeat dads that
Yeah.
wasn't really going to be involved. And, you know, it'll be okay if the child only came over.
Right.
And then I'm so glad he handled it the way he did.
Yeah.
Like because to me, even
She. Yeah.
to consider her again, even if she said, okay, I'm sorry, you cannot be considered, sis. You fucked up royally by saying that. You are selfish. And so was your mama and your entire bloodline, because clearly the shit was learned from somebody. Somebody's not giving good advice. Your
Great time
grandmama.
to party. I hope they had some nice luau's and saw the volcano,
Yeah. Him and Bella. Yeah.
pineapple. Yeah, hope they had a good time.
Cause it's
No,
horrible. I
they
mean,
were
that's
very
horrible.
disappointed.
It's just horrible. I mean, it's just like
Um,
horrible. You know.
But in the end, though, she was asking him to forgive her. She was
Yeah,
saying, "Please
but
forgive me, please forgive me." In the end,
this is my response to her. I wish you well in all your endeavors. May the good Lord bless and keep you. Okay.
Yes,
I'm
and
I
mentioning you,
know
but
she
God
did ask
does.
for
So go on.
forgiveness in the end.
but don't let the door hit you in the butt. I mean,
Right. Because
keep
that's some
on
bullshit.
keep on moving, and because she didn't instantly change her desire for Bella. What she was said was, well, I wanted this little romantic, unrealistic storybook kind of life.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't really know, but it doesn't sound like she was saying, "Oh, never mind, I'll take her. I want her now." No, it was just, "Oh no, I don't want to move my stuff." I like
But I mean, and it's also like a lot of women, they're unrealistic with their choosing. If you know, it's I have friends that when we were younger said, I can't marry a man with kids, period, point blank, I don't want it. And that's what you need to stick hold your guns with. I
Right.
don't want to be with a man with kids, you know. And
Nah,
that's
but
okay.
mm,
That's
you're right.
okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If you don't want to be with
You're
a man
right,
that already has
Felicia.
kids, that's fine.
But see, she hit 36 and them eggs are slowly disappearing.
it.
Okay.
She better marry young.
They
She got
become
about
hard
three
boiled.
viable eggs left, guys. She got three viable eggs that she got to use now.
They're swimming
Okay.
fast.
Yeah.
But something I thought about, I was saying if this man had agreed to these nonsense demands,
Hmm.
they would have sown the seed of rejection in their baby.
Oh
They would
yeah.
have messed it up. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, so many spirits come into that with rejection, abandonment, depression, all them ninjas, right? I
Yeah.
mean, oh my gosh. I was thinking about the spiritual warfare aspect of that. I
But
was like,
daddy
wow,
did what daddy's supposed to do. He protected her,
he
you
He
know,
did.
did.
and
He
that's
did,
what
and I'm so
matters.
glad he didn't. And I hope that he doesn't tell her. The reason why we're not getting married is because you know what I'm saying. That's a lot of
I'm
pressure
sure
too.
I'm
Yes,
sure Bella has some stories that
he told her, you have to leave while she's not here. It sounded like
Right.
he was being very protective of her
Yeah.
mental health, and so yeah, so that's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
Gracie made a
yeah.
point earlier. He had said that she couldn't have pretended for 4 years. She must have done some bullshit that Bella probably remembers. Because there's
Yeah.
no way you could have kept that shit up.
I don't think she could have, not for 4 years.
No, she couldn't have.
Well, y'all thinking 4 years living together.
No,
Because
they're
when you're
really
loving somebody,
great.
you can't hide,
No,
baby.
no, no. Who said they lived together for 4 years? They may only
Oh,
live
that's
together
true. That's
for a
true.
year or two, maybe
That's
Oh,
true.
two.
that's true.
That
That's true.
doesn't,
They could have been living together. They
I
may
don't
not be
care.
together no
Even
more.
if they're just together, no one can. I know y'all say people can do that, but I just do not
That's
believe
true.
someone can fake and shake.
Kim,
Well,
narcissist.
yeah,
I'm not kidding.
you have to
not fake and shake, tolerate. She tolerated her.
you have to acknowledge that he probably was a little delusional at times, but when it finally came to the edge, and there then she was saying, "This is she's not going to be in my wedding," and it was like that line finally had to be crossed.
Yeah.
There,
Yeah.
which before he may have been like, this seems a little weird, but everybody's kind of we'll be all right. But then when it finally came down to it, he finally said, "Oh, it's called cognitive dissonance. it's
That's
the
right.
it's the willingness to not see what is being seen. What your brain says, this is too weird. I can't handle that. It doesn't make sense, so I make it make sense because our brains are built to have order and make sense out of things. And there's some very interesting studies that have been done about cognitive dissonance. Um, but it all has to do with we will put things in order even when really truly that's why we're sometimes a lot of times willing to be abused because the person's saying they love you but they are acting differently. Sometimes they act one way, sometimes they act the other, and because of our own desires or we get fooled or gaslighted or whatever it is, we'll allow ourselves to be abused, whether it's in a home situation or a parent situation or a work situation or a church situation. We will stay in a place longer than really our minds are telling us, and probably maybe even all the people around us. But we need to stay ordered. And anyway, all that to say, he may have been willing to overlook until it finally came down to it. And thankfully, it looks like he'd made.
Because she put that thing on him. That's what happened. Yep.
Hey.
So
Not
when you were talking about
necessarily. You see, we go there, but not necessarily. I know a lady that was with her husband, and before they got married, he had like a son around that age, and she would just strategically plan trips, events, and things when they didn't have him. So she was living a it's just us life, you know. She
wow.
was that
Yeah.
type of, and she ended up marrying him or whatever, but she was like, instead of not inviting his son, it was no kids to the wedding. No
Oh
kids are
my
gonna
God.
be here.
And he was okay with it? He
She
was
had a
cool with
lot
it?
of Yeah, he married her.
He was
No
cool
kids
with
at
it.
the wedding. No kids, no kids.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
No.
But that's a
So,
popular thing now anyway.
yeah, but if you have kids, I mean, you can't be like no kids at the wedding. My kid told me, Mama, don't elope. Our feelings will be real hurt. I wouldn't do that though. I threatened it, but I really wouldn't elope though. Because I
Right.
really, they'll be starting on the wrong foot. So Stacey, when you were talking about cognitive dissonance, one of the things that my kids and I, when we praying in the morning, we always bind cognitive dissonance and loose understanding every day. So when you said that, I was like, yep, because that shit is for real. Like, oh my gosh, I lose understanding every day because you're not gonna get caught up in other people's bullshit and even your own, because your own bullshit could be a stumbling block, which mostly is. Okay, so we're almost at the end, but I want to ask you guys, since you're like experts, okay, what advice would you give someone just beginning their journey as part of a blended family? So what would you do differently now knowing what you know?
I have one. I think that there's a lot of different ways to approach it, but I think one thing to do is to create your own traditions. To create traditions that are your family. So when that child, especially if they're going back and forth, maybe from a distance, like North Carolina, or maybe like every week, every other week, it's with a different parent. Where when they're with they know these are the traditions, these are the fun things that family A does, that the Smiths do this. Hey, but we also acknowledge that when you go to mama's, maybe they do Christmas a little bit differently or they do something a little bit differently. But give that kid something that they kind of like know, oh, when they come to this house, there's a little shift. not like crazy discipline things or anything like that, but just sort of something kind of a little bit fun, maybe a different way of doing things, and letting them know these are these cool, interesting things that are us, and you're a part of that. What do you want to do? How do you want to handle this holiday? What kind of things, and make sure that they any of those kind of traditions are they're a part of that. But then also acknowledge, oh, when you're with mom or with that other family, hey, we acknowledge that, and oh, you want to get home early because you'll have a special family Christmas party. Oh yeah, let's do that. We'll acknowledge that with you as well. So that's just one thing that I think it's I my family we did different things with different groups, and and it was fun. It was fun to eat both places. You just had to learn how to fit in. This group was a big family. This group was a small family, so I would fit in differently in different ways. So that's just one
Okay.
thing that could help.
That's good advice. I like that. What about you, Felicia? I guess this is our final thoughts as well, because we're at 8 o'clock.
Okay. Love. Just kids don't need much.
Hey.
Just love
Right.
them. Just make them feel like they're part of the family. Um,
Mhm.
it'd be days I'd say, Kaylin and Shane, y'all need to get in there and get on those dishes. Or, and love shows up differently for different people, in different ways. And
Yeah.
then I think also that the job of the step parent is to kind of find out what their likes and dislikes. It will be plenty of times I would be like, hey, Shane, what we eat for dinner? We either gonna eat this, we gonna eat that. And he's like, let's eat this. Okay, making him feel like you're a part of this family. You're not
Right.
just this. And I would tell him, you're not a visitor. Why are you asking me that? You're not a visitor. You live here. This is your house. So, and I think making the kids feel at home, because you can go to a step parent's house and feel like I can't touch this. I can't do that. I can't do this.
Mhm.
So
But see, you set that stage, baby girl. You did that.
You
You
did.
what?
know, I said you set that stage for that baby to make you
Yeah.
feel accepted, you
Yeah.
know.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's amazing because there's some of us out here that don't do that shit.
I know.
We don't. We don't think about, you know. Anyway, before I give my thoughts, we don't think about that. What about you, Kim?
For me, I wish that in the beginning, I wish that I had developed a relationship with Leandra to where we could talk. I mean, yeah, she was kind of upset that we didn't have anyway. But I wish that it wasn't the conversation where William was relaying information to me from her. I wish we were all three on a call talking, but William
Okay.
would always relay, oh, I just got off the phone with Leandra, or I just talked to Leandra. When I wish it was like all three of us coming together talking and deciding stuff about Bubba. Not, oh, this is what Leandra said, and this is, she wants to do it this way. So what do you think? And then me and William coming up. And it was just, I wish we all three could have come together. So the communication between the parent,
Yeah, that sounds.
but
Yeah.
when you have one parent who is still likes the other person, it's kind of difficult. You know what I'm saying?
You mean like has feelings?
Yeah, still has feelings for the
Okay.
person that you married. So that becomes a
Yeah,
challenge.
baby girl. Yeah, they
And
need to deal with
so
that shit.
that
But
becomes
sometimes
hard.
the other parent is just crazy. I mean,
Yeah,
let's just
That's
be
true.
sometimes
honest.
too crazy,
Sometimes they're
too
just crazy.
crazy. Yeah,
They're
That
yeah,
too.
unhappy with their life, you know, because I know
Right.
people, I won't say no names, they were married and went on with their life and they still was unhappy.
yes,
It
yes,
don't matter what,
Stop it.
even though they got somebody, I'm still don't want y'all to be happy.
Yeah.
right. So, for instance, I'll give a really quick instance. When my son was in the hospital just last year, um, he had surgery, so me and William went, and she hadn't come yet. We had been there all day, and then she came, I guess, after work or whatever. And and the first thing she does is talk about high school stuff
She does. She
when
does
they
what?
were,
What?
you know what I'm
Yeah.
What
saying?
she do?
Talk about high school stuff.
High school.
Girl, bye. Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like she's talking about high school stuff,
Yes.
like when they were in
Yes.
high school. And oh,
Cause
remember
girl.
when? Remember when? I'm just sitting there like, okay, this is
Hey,
so.
yeah, girl, that was 30 years ago. Remember when
Right.
we did this 10 days ago?
I was
Like
just
girl.
like,
Stop it.
you can have it, girl. Go ahead and have that, girl.
Some people are just not
Right.
happy.
We gonna be here another
It took a long
hour,
time
and
for me
so
to realize no matter what I do, if you're not personally happy, my happiness is I can't do anything about your unhappiness, you
I'm
know.
like,
That's
go
right.
ahead, go. You go and reminisce, William. Go right ahead.
Yeah.
Like,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. But I wish there
Okay.
was more. So I wish. So Robbie, I wish there was more communication between the three of us.
I think that's so important.
Yes.
So my biggest piece of advice would be to be patient and have open lines of communication. And what Felicia said, love. That the kids need to be feel loved. Also, I was writing down while you were talking. Also, it's not a race. I think it's a gradual process of becoming blended, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every person needs to feel valued and heard. That's the thing. Because the number one thing I know I feel as a child was that I was not heard. So what happens is that I couldn't move past certain things because I never felt heard. And so I still talk about certain things because I wasn't heard. And I think in my journey, I realized that's so important. And then coming into this blended family thing, I think each and every person in the family needs to feel that way, and celebrates the small victories and all that.
What you said a second ago, just real quick about like the blending, that it is not instant.
Mm.
It's
Right.
it is a journey. You have it written right across the bottom there. It is a journey of blending. Little things, sometimes it's quick. Things have to happen really hard and fast, but most of the time it's just a very slow, even all the way into your 20s and beyond, where you're just saying, "Oh, how can I help? How can I love you now as a preteen? How can I love you as an adult? How can I love you and get to know you?" And yeah, so it is definitely a journey. So yeah, that's very good. The blending
Yeah.
is not instant. It's
Mm-hmm.
And I think
always moving.
Yes.
we need to celebrate the victories and acknowledge the setbacks, right? 'Cause a lot of times we don't talk about having those hard conversations. I think as families, we need to have those hard conversations so we can move forward. But of course, nobody likes to feel bad, so you don't want to have those conversations. But in order for this to work, you're going to have to be in uncomfortable spaces. So that's my advice. I mean, it's not going to be easy, clearly. But you guys are great examples of that it can be done because you guys are in successful marriages and relationships, and the kids love you all and bomb. So thank you for showing me how this can be done.
It can
It
be
can be
done.
done, Robbie. It can be done.
Yes, it can be done.
Yes. So I appreciate that. Guys, it is now 8:07 and it's time for us to go. Stacy, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you,
on. We would
Stacy.
Thank
love to
you,
have you again.
Time. It was a
I just
blast.
wanted to know that Kim wasn't cussing as much today because I think because you were here.
Oh, yeah, and I do have to say this, Felicia. You look damn good in that green shirt. Oh my gosh, I
Thank you.
want that shirt so bad.
Thank you.
Yeah, that looks good. Kim,
Thank you.
you need to step it up a little bit.
Oh,
know,
what?
you know, yellow,
She's sunshine over there.
no green, no
She
green.
is. She deserves some tuna fish, Kim.
Oh, Lord.
Please make me
I'm making some
some.
tuna fish. Yes, ma'am. All
Stacy,
right,
you're
guys.
gonna have to come back again.
Very much. I
Yes,
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
you have to. So we'd love to have you again. All
Thank
right,
you.
guys. Have a good evening. Bye. All.